Now, a lot of people feel like life is just running them instead of the other way around. You know, they're a slave to life is the way they feel. The day starts, and before they know it, they've already reacted. Messages, appointments, habits, worries, and routines pull at them from every direction. By the end of the day, they're tired, wore out, but they're not sure what they actually did with their time. It feels like chaos. Feels like the day just happened to them again. And when that goes on long enough, it wears a person down, and sleep just doesn't feel satisfying anymore. Now, for us older people, you understand this, and the body feels stiff, and it's slow to recover, and the mind stays busy even when nothing is happening. It's just wound up. Now, most folks don't call this a problem. They just say, that's how life is now. But it wasn't always that way. Living deliberately means choosing how you move through the day instead of letting everything push you around. Be the captain in charge. It doesn't mean living perfectly or having everything figured out. That's just not possible, but it means living on purpose, and even in small ways. I've had seasons where I didn't do this very well at all, and I become a slave to life. And I let the days stack up without much thought at all. I said yes too often. I rushed things that didn't need rushing. And after a while, my body just let me know, and sleep got lighter. I couldn't sleep. Pain hung on longer. I felt busy, but never settled. And that's usually when I realize I've been living on the moment instead of intention. I just been living in the momentum of a slave to it. That's when I slow down and I take stock. What actually matters today? What doesn't? What helps me recover? And what keeps draining the heck out of me? Older folks, we're better at this than we are now. The older thinkers did it. They didn't use the word deliberate, but they lived that way. A day had a shape to it. They strategized. Work had a beginning and an end. Rest wasn't something you just earned after burning yourself out completely. It was part of life. They paid attention to daylight. They ate when it made sense. They didn't run the graveyard shift and not realize that was a graveyard shift. They slept when it got dark. They didn't fill up every quiet moment with just plain noise. They lived closer to what the body actually needed. Somewhere along the way, we started treating life like something to manage instead of something to live, almost something to mock. We measure everything, we schedule everything, we react to everything. When you do that long enough, you forget how to choose. And sometimes our schedule and our work mocks what the body needs. Living deliberately brings choice back. It starts small. You decide when the day begins instead of reaching for a screen. You decide when the day ends instead of staying wired late into the night. You decide what you eat. You rest when you rest, and when you step away, you step away. Those choices matter more in life. The body doesn't bounce back, the way it used to. Now, sleep becomes it's just so important. Nothing less. Minerals matter more and more. Rhythm matters more and more. Just living deliberately means paying attention to all these things before they turn into bigger problems. You notice if you're drinking a lot of water, but still feel drained. You notice if your muscles stay tight. You notice if your sleep never quite repairs you. Instead of ignoring all that stuff, you adjust. Observe it. You slow meals down. You make room for rest. You stop pushing through things that need patience instead. Don't put all that on the back burner. Don't mock the body, what it needs. Faith fits into this as well. Faith isn't something you rush. It grows when life has order to it. It deepens when you stop crowding every single moment with overstimulation. Older thinkers, they knew this. They understood that a hurried life leaves no room for wisdom. If everything feels urgent, nothing feels meaningful. Living deliberately, my friends, gives meaning its place again. Later in life, this becomes especially important. People start looking to you not for speed, but for steadiness. Not for quick answers to everything, but for perspective. Not for noise, but for calmness. You can't offer any of that if you're always reacting and playing that game. Deliberate living protects your energy, your person, your soul. It helps you stay clear-headed. It gives your body a chance to recover and your mind a chance to settle. This isn't about doing more for the world and just doing more for our own selfish interests. It's about doing what matters and letting the rest fall away. You don't have to change everything at once. You just have to notice where your life is running, where your life is running you instead of the other way around. Where does your Creator want you? What was your use? Where is your talents? Living deliberately is choosing to be present for your own life. I don't have all this figured out, I'm assure you, but I'm still working on it, and I'm trying to every day try to get a little closer to that. And I invite you to move forward with me, and I appreciate you watching.